So the 2024 NFL season has officially began. Week 1, Packers versus Eagles. In Brazil, Packers lose 34-29. Obviously, at the end of the game, I think I can speak for most Packers fans that we were kind of just holding our breath and just sitting there in just utter disbelief of what happened with the Jordan Love injury. It looked really bad on, when it happened. And all we could do is just sit there, watch and pray. Like, at that moment, obviously, I didn't care about the game. And I was more worried about the entire season. We'll talk more about that. Just going to go over some thoughts of the game. Packers lose. Like I said, they allowed 34 points. Their offense only put up 29. The field conditions didn't seem like they were the best. We seen the first handoff to Saquon that he tripped and fell immediately. From that moment, we knew that it was going to be like this the entire game. A lot of players were slipping and falling. I don't know how much that really attests to how both teams played, because it was a very, very sloppy game from both teams. Obviously, the Eagles weren't doing so well either. They caught stride kind of in the third quarter, even before going into halftime, but coming out strong with the third quarter with the A.J. Brown long touchdown that he got. Yeah, field conditions weren't the best. The officiating, I don't know. There was a lot of penalties in that game. I don't know the exact number. I know accepted penalties, there had to be at least 18, 19. So I just looked this up too. I'm pretty sure this is probably the most accurate thing I can find, because I'm not going to go through the entire game again and just count all the flags, because that was miserable enough seeing it live. But right here it says that Packers had against count 10, Eagles had 7. These are just, so those 17 penalties, but those were just accepted penalties. As you see, it says declined penalties 3, Eagles had 2. Total flags 11 and 15. So 26 flags were thrown against them. And I'm pretty sure most of them were, at least for the Packers, were on the offense and a few special teams. We had a phantom Jair, phantom holding call or pass interference call. So that was terrible. I mean, the Eagles did get away with a pretty bad roughing the passer. I wouldn't say it was that bad, but I don't think that was roughing the passer. We did get bailed out on that end, but it is what it is. I think the officiating was horrible. It's just the first 2 games of the season, especially in Brazil too, international game. Just very, very sloppy from both teams to have this many penalties. There was one that we had. I've never seen 12 men on the field on offense and defense at the same time, but that erased a Jayden Reed touchdown. I believe it was. It was a touchdown. I believe that one was a Jayden Reed, but it erased a Jayden Reed touchdown. So it was a very sloppy game. The field conditions were bad. The reffing was bad. Again, both teams are just sloppy. So it was, and yet it was still a good game. Lost by a couple points, lost by a touchdown. Not even a touchdown. Week 1, you kind of expect this, traveling as well on top of it. I didn't expect both teams to score this many points in week 1. I thought it was going to be a really low scoring game, like a 20-17 or 20-14 type game. But we got a little show. So that's my first takeaway, was those 2 things to point out. Now, secondly, defense. We gave Joe Barry so much flack for being Joe Barry, with good reason. He kind of deserved it. But at the same time too, Jeff Hafley, I believe this is his first coaching job in the NFL. And you still temper expectations week 1. And the thing is, the Eagles are a good team. So I don't even try to discredit anything the defense did. We at first, especially the first quarter and a half. First drive, got an interception. Second drive, you had a fumble. So they made plays. We got turnovers. First 3 turnovers, which is something that we really don't do. It was great to see Xavier McKinney, our first, someone that we actually got in the offseason, make a play. So that was great to see. It just sucks that offense couldn't capitalize on it. I believe they got 2 field goals out of 2 interceptions. So if we could have got a touchdown on one of them or both of them. Totally different game. Jordan Love never gets put in that position to make that Hail Mary desperation type throw, and he's probably not injured. The defense was aggressive, yeah, but still, Jalen Hurts, 20 of 34, 278 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, came on early. One came early, and then one came in the second half, I believe. And then Saquon Barkley had 24 carries, 109 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had a receiving touchdown. AJ Brown, 5 receptions, 119 yards, a touchdown. The defense was playing more aggressive. They were creating turnovers, but running game's a concern. Still, the Eagles are a good team though, so we can't. It's not like we were playing like the Cardinals or something, or I don't even know, a bad team because the new season, but the Panthers from last year, even though the Panthers basically, they almost beat us last year too. Came down to the wire, but it wasn't like we were playing them again. Eagles are good. Can't take that away from them. So I think take this with a grain of salt when it comes to the defense. Like I said, we're not going to be playing the Eagles every week. It is early in the season, so give them some time to gel, get used to, I guess, the new scheme, and just figure themselves out more. Hopefully towards the end of the season, when we really start playing some of the powerhouses, that they can come together as a unit and make some plays. They look promising. Like there's potential there. I'm not gonna shit on them for one bad week. New kicker, kicking was good. Braden Narverson, he made 3 of 4 field goals. He missed decently, 44 I think ish long field goal, but he made both his PATs. So the field goals that he did make, they were down the middle, like not even off a little bit, like with Carlson before. Like, yeah, he would make them, but they were very, very close a lot of the time. So it was nice to see that we probably have a decent kicker. It just sucks too that, again, a lot of missed opportunities for the Packers team in general. If he would have made one of those kicks, different ball game. We didn't get that holding call, or if we didn't get the 12 men on the field, we could have got that touchdown. Different ball game. Tons of mistakes all around. Now offense too. Offense was not. They didn't do too well either. Like I said, we missed on 2 opportunities with 3, I think, with turnovers, and I think we got total of 6 points out of it. Jordan Love was 17 of 34 for 260 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Josh Jacobs had 16 carries, 84 yards, but he did have like 4 yards at halftime. Jayden Reed, leading receiver. Jayden Reed was great. 4 receptions, 138 yards, a touchdown, and he also had a rushing touchdown too. No, in total too, the Eagles total yards were 410. Packers had 414 total yards. We each had 11 drives each. Big difference is yards per play. We had 7.1. Eagles had 5.5. We had 251 passing yards. They had 266. Rushing, we had 21 attempts. They had 38. We had 163 yards rushing. Emmanuel Wilson was like 446. So that's crazy. Eagles had 144 yards rushing. We averaged 7.8 yards per rush, which is good, but it wasn't too good at first. We got a lot of big runs in the second half. Eagles were 3.8 yards per rush. Red zone, big problem. 1 for 4 in the red zone. In the red zone too, like we tried getting Watson. I think he had like 3 red zone targets and didn't get like any of them. Well, he got 1 touchdown, but he got like 3 red zone targets. So it seems like they're trying to make him the scoring option, at least when we get down there. Romeo Doubs still got the most snaps. He's considered receiver number 1, but they're trying to get Christian Watson the ball, trying to get him to score. Watson still depends on the big plays, because without it, he didn't do much. Yeah, Christian Watson had 3 catches, 13 yards, and 1 TD. His longest was 6 yards. He had 5 targets. Romeo Doubs had 7 targets, 4 receptions, 50 yards, no touchdown. So target share, Romeo Doubs and Jayden Reed. Jayden Reed had 6 targets, 4 receptions, 138 yards, 1 touchdown. The longest was a 70-yard. Rushing too. Josh Jacobs, like I said, 16 for 84 yards. Emmanuel Wilson, 4 carries, 46 yards. Crazy. He averaged 11.5. He only got 4 carries. Still, like, I would have liked seeing Jacobs do better. He still averaged 5.3, which is crazy because, again, what he was at halftime was like 4 yards. Jayden Reed, 1 carry, 33 yards. Josh Jacobs did fumble too. We did recover it, but still a little concerning to see that, getting the ball put on the ground. So something interesting too going forward with the Packers and their snap count, Tucker Kraft seems to be tied at number 1 as of right now. Like, even before the game started, the Packers injury report, he was listed as questionable with a back injury. He played 64 snaps, ran 30 routes, and he had 2 targets, no catches, I think. Luke Musgrave only played 17 snaps, ran 8 routes, and only had 2 targets. It looks like Tucker Kraft may be tied at number 1. Last year, Tucker Kraft didn't really see much playing time until Luke Musgrave got injured. In the time that he was playing, Tucker Kraft, he played good. He seems to have taken over as tight end 1. So we're going to have to monitor that going forward. But yeah, as of right now, he outsnapped him. Tucker Kraft outsnapped Romeo Doubs too, technically. Romeo Doubs had 58 snaps. Jayden Reed had 49. Christian Watson, 42. Dontavian Wicks, 30. Tucker Kraft had the second most routes run compared to Romeo Doubs, because Romeo Doubs ran 33 and Tucker Kraft ran 30. Doubs, of course, got the most targets still because he's wide receiver number 1, so I would hope so. It's just crazy. Marshawn Lloyd, our rookie running back that we drafted this year, was inactive with a hamstring injury. So who's to say who's going to get more time and how long Marshawn Lloyd is going to take to get back? It could be a 3-headed backfield. Just could be 2. It's hard to say. But once Marshawn Lloyd comes back, then we might see Josh Jacobs get rotated out a little bit more. I wish the Packers could have got a win out of here. I mean, I did predict them to lose this game when I did my predictions. But while watching the game, of course, I still want them to win. This is the game that we could have won. It would have been nice to win too, starting off 1-0, especially with Jordan Love probably missing some time. Starting off 1-0 would have been nice. Like, it's just tough. It's tough to watch. It was tough to watch, tough to swallow, but move on. It is what it is. We just have to wait and see. All right, now the biggest thing that we have to talk about is the Jordan Love injury. So at the end of the game, last 10 seconds, Jalen Carter, I believe it was, kind of wrapped him up at the legs and stopped him from moving. It looked like his knee had popped, and then it just looked bad because he was thriving in pain. He was very much in pain, as you could see. Josh Myers also got hurt too. I just want to throw that out there. Josh Myers got hurt the same exact play, but no one ever talked about it. He's fine. I guess he was having cramps the entire game. After Josh Myers got hurt, the last 2 snaps, Ellington Jenkins moved to center while Sean Ryan and Jordan Morgan were at left guard and right guard respectively. I mean, there was only for the 2 final plays, but still. So it's something interesting to monitor to see what they're going to do with the O-line. If for some reason Josh Myers misses time, I doubt it. He said he was cramping the entire game, but he should be fine. And Jordan Love, again, you don't want to see this with any player, especially after, such a promising end of last year and the new deal being the highest paid, tied for the highest paid quarterback. You don't want to see this. And it came out that Jordan Love potentially has a grade 1 MCL or grade 2 MCL in between there. So his ACL is still intact. Thank God, because if his ACL was done for, that's an entire season plus recovery that we have to wait for. And it's just terrible. He's young. Everyone heals different though. I mean, Rashawn Gary came back in less than a year with his injury. And he played fine when he came back. I think week 1 against the Bears, he had 3 sacks almost last year. Jordan Love, man, it's going to be tough. So if anything, we got to find out more. Probably will find out a little bit more, a real timetable, I think, within the next couple of days. But he could miss. I see him missing maybe 2 weeks. Just kind of depends on what we're going to do at quarterback. We got to see about this. We have Malik Willis, obviously. And I feel like Malik Willis wasn't really given a fair chance when he was in Tennessee. He didn't play good when he was the few limited games that he played and snaps that he played. But Tennessee wasn't that great of a team. He still was young, inexperienced. So Packers obviously saw something in him for them to go out and get him. But it's going to be interesting to see whether we're going to keep Malik Willis. We're going to have Sean Clifford in there. We might sign someone. Ryan Tannehill's probably the best and only option in free agency. If you have to sign anyone else but Ryan Tannehill, you might as well just stick with Malik Willis or Sean Clifford. I mean, I don't think they need to sign Ryan Tannehill unless Jordan Love's going to miss like 4 to 6 to 8 weeks. Then yeah, maybe go out there and try to sign Ryan Tannehill. Or I mean, I don't think there's many quarterbacks that you can go out there and trade for. Nothing that I'd be happy for. I mean, who are some backups out there? Mac Jones, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. Can you imagine Justin Fields coming to the Packers? There's a few backups out there. Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance. No, but we'll see how it's gonna go. We played the Colts at home, the Titans at home, then I believe the Vikings, Rams, and Cardinals. So the next 2 games, it just depends too. Like, if we can somehow squeeze out 2 wins against the Cardinals and the Titans with whichever quarterback at the helm, then maybe we can give Jordan Love a little bit more time to rest, you know? Like, he probably could come back in 2 weeks, but just to be sure, if the Packers team can hold it down for 2 to 4 weeks, even going 3-1 or 2-2, you know, Jordan Love comes back sitting at 2-3, 3-4, or 2-3, 3-2, 4-1. That'd be nice. So we'll just have to monitor it going forward. He avoided a season-ending injury, so that's great. Gotta look at the bright side, man. It is what it is. It's the NFL. It happens. It sucks that it happened to our quarterback in the way it did. But, you know, Packers still a young team. A lot of heart. So I think that we will be fine. As a great Packers legend at this point once said, relax. It's going to be okay. We have some decent opponents upcoming first couple weeks or the first like half of the season. Most notably, the Rams probably be a tough matchup. The Texans, the Lions, and being after the bye week, really that's when it starts getting kind of, you know, 49ers, Lions again. Got the Bears twice, Vikings one more time, Saints, Seahawks. Right now it's probably better to happen early. We also got an extra rest days because it happened on a Friday, so you get the Saturday, Sunday, as opposed to it happening on Sunday and getting less days in between. So 2 extra days of rest. We're just gonna have to monitor everything going forward. If any news comes out, any notable news, I will try to make a video on it or just talk about it because it's just unrealistic, man. It's just unreal. I should say, just like I said, total gut punch. But it is what it is. Packers are still gonna win the division, and we're still gonna go to the Super Bowl. That's it for now. Go Pack, go.